Hello, everyone. This is Scott Geider with my very special co-host, Joanne Thomas. Our guest today is a very talented, up-and-coming filmmaker. I mean, he is an actor first, but he's attempted to direct his very first film, Man in a Box. Our very special guest is Kevin Davis. Kevin, how are you?
I'm fine, Scott. Thank you. How are you?
Good. As we all know, I saw the trailer of Man in a Box, and Joanne's seen the trailer, and how I came across your film is from a very talented cinematographer that I've worked with twice, is, Mr. Pizzo, and I was on set, and he mentioned to me, did you ever hear of Man in a Box? I said, no, I have not, but I am now. So I checked out the trailer, and I fell in love with the way it was shot. The storyline is very interesting, so I started promoting it on my websites to get some more press and some more interest in this film, and it seems to be working. So when I sent Joanne the post on my site, she watched the trailer, and I can always remember these words that she wrote. It was simple, 3 letters. It was wow. So there you go. From a woman's perspective, wow. And top it all off, a woman's perspective who is a co-founder of the Fantastic Horror Film Festival in San Diego, California, debuting October 31st in 2014. So, Kevin, thanks again for coming on, and we're honored to have you on here.
My pleasure.
Well, I really liked the trailer for your movie, and I was wondering, where did the concept come from for this movie?
Well, that's a good question. I was actually, when I originally started to write this movie, it was more of a road movie, I guess you could say, kind of like a road trip movie of this drifter. But it started to kind of evolve into the story where it is now, where we have a young boy who is abused as a young man, as a young boy. He has a younger sister, and his parents are on drugs and alcohol, and they're very abusive to both of them. But he pretty much withstands it. But he kind of decides he's going to protect his sister from all this abuse. And that's when the drama unfolds, of course, because his father attempts to start to fondle his little sister, and he just won't have that. And that's, I believe, in the trailer you see him with the gun. That's why he has the gun. He's going to protect his sister. And it's kind of a dark movie, but it has a lot of kind of twists to it.
So, when you talked about Man in the Box, I think what's so fascinating about this film is the fact of his backstory. I think one of the memorable scenes in the trailer is the question that everyone has to deal with. It can go from being arrested for petty theft, or being arrested for something that happens in your past, and that comes and haunts you when you go to apply for a job. The first question the application will ask you, were you convicted of a felon? In some cases it's every 5 years, in some cases it's every 10 years. And the sad part about it is, regardless of what you've done in your past, well, I guess it depends on what you do, but it seems like when you make a stupid mistake in your past, it seems to haunt you later when you're going for a job. And I think that's one of the systems that has to get changed, because when you make a mistake, now I'm not saying about this case in this movie, I'm saying other cases where people might have done some stupid stuff, and then you have people who have jobs who don't give a shit, you know what I mean? And there's people who need jobs that have a record that they can't get a job. So I think that our systems, I think it has to change, because there's a lot of great people that have talents in certain areas of the fields that don't get a chance because of their misfortune of making a bad choice, in their lives. So that's one of the scenes in this trailer, I think, that I don't want to say what he did. I don't want to ruin the even though it's a trailer, but I'm going to keep it quiet on that. But I think that was one of the most powerful scenes, I think, when you first start watching this trailer, is you're starting to understand this guy's background, and it just goes to hell in a handbasket later on. Now, this idea you mentioned about how you wanted to be a road film at first, but then it kind of changed. So you mentioned in our show that it's now going to be redone about Pizzo, Drew, how he took upon himself to use some of his skills in some of his scenes. What was your perspective of after what he did? How much different was it to your vision of how your vision was and how it would ending up being?
Well, what he had done at the time, he actually enhanced. It was something that when I had an opportunity to look at some of the footage that he was shooting, that he had just taken off on his own. I can recall we were at a location and it was nighttime, and we had it set up to do a scene a certain way. And he was just sitting there thinking, and he says, I'd like to try something if you don't mind. And he set the camera up, he took it off the tripod, and he said, Kev, I need you to go over here, and because I was actually in that scene.
Okay.
And I didn't quite understand where he was going with it, but I figured, at this point, let's just roll with it and see what we got. And I was blown away. I mean, he had captured something that just wasn't even on my radar. He had totally captured the moment in a way that I felt was the better way to go about it. So we actually kept that, and of course there were other moments, but that was encouraging to see what he was able to do when he had time to think about the things he was shooting.
That's one thing that I admire you from saying that, is because a lot of filmmakers, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of these filmmakers have their own visions of their films, and a lot of them don't want to make any changes for their vision because to them it looks like they're losing power. It's sad, but I'm not saying all of them, but to hear you say that, to me it's saying, okay, I want to work with Kevin, because Kevin is open to suggestions to where maybe you don't have the full potential vision that, I'm not saying, that something might be that you're missing that might really enhance your idea. And by you saying that, it tells me that, wow, this guy is open for suggestions. Martin, the director of Arisen, is the same way. I was blown away by his vision. Okay, well, it's not just my vision, it's our project. If we can make our project better, let's do it. And I admire you for that.
Thank you, Scott, and I agree with what you're saying. I can tell you wholeheartedly and sincerely that I believe that when you're on a film, it is that's my motto, it is our project. And everybody plays a part, and everyone has something invested in that film. And that's the attitude I take into it. There's no ego with me, because I'm the person, I'm just happy to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. I'm just happy to be there in any capacity. I've done PA, I've directed, I've produced, obviously, I've written, and I've acted. And whatever role I'm playing, I'm happy to be a part. And I just try to kind of make sure that everyone that's involved feels that they're contributing something to this film, because it really is. It's a collaborative effort, and that's just my attitude. And God willing, it'll stay that way.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Now, I know that you're an actor in some films, and we'll get to that, especially one film in mind. Now, when you made your debut as an actor in a film, now, was your mind... I'm sure that from your first experience of doing it until now, you've learned a lot. Did you always have that open-minded vision of, of opportunity knocks to... I know you only made one film, but did you always have that mindset? Like, I'm an actor. If I make a film, I have a vision, but I am open for suggestions. Was that always in your mindset? Just curious.
I think initially I started off, it was just simply being an actor, and it was just the enthusiasm. I can recall when I would show up on a set to do a part, there would be people there who would just complain for traveling 40 minutes out of their way, and I'm thinking, I've traveled 4 hours to be here.
Right.
And my role's smaller than yours, but I was just happy to be there. That was... I certainly wasn't thinking of being a director at the time, but I just remember being very happy just to be a part of something, and just not wanting it to ever end. I enjoyed it so much.
That's exactly my mindset. You spoke the exact words that I have done. I've traveled 2 hours to a set for no pay, but I don't care about the pay. What I care about is, one, they have interest in me. That's a key. That's exciting alone. And then to get a character, a script that you read that you really dig, that you want to be part of no matter what, that's the first steps of passion. And you're right. There's people that will complain. And the ones that complain are the ones that will not be successful in this industry. No one's going to take a chance on them, because you have to, like you said, you are glad to be there. And that's how I am. I am glad to have the opportunity to be there. Especially when you hear stuff like, 30 people applied for this job, but they chose you. Right there tells you right then and there is, thank you, I'm glad to be here. And, it just goes a long way. Passion, honesty, being happy what you're doing goes a long way in this industry. Because if you come off as a jerk, then you're going to be treated like a jerk. And, end of story.
I agree.
So, but there is a new thing that I've started that you were part of. It's going to be redone. But my first film was in New York, excluding the out of Pennsylvania thing. But I've done a bunch of stuff in Pennsylvania. Voiceover work for a movie in Scranton. I did a movie in Philly, a movie in Langhorne. I've done a movie in Lewistown outside of State College. So I've done a lot of the local, not local, but in the Pennsylvania area. So being a part of some of these groups, or the Pennsylvania Actors Group or Philadelphia Entertainment, I start seeing stuff. I didn't realize that there was that much films being filmed in our Pennsylvania area when I first started reviewing films for my site. So when I took the leap of faith and auditioned for the role of Dr. Rogers in Arisen, I didn't know these people whatsoever, but I traveled an hour and a half into Philly, and I had a wonderful experience. And then because of being exposed in the Philadelphia area, I've noticed a lot of short films and full features are being made in the Philadelphia area that, in most cases, they get made, but a lot of people do not see them. And my goal in forming this Facebook page, Pennsylvania Filmmakers, promote Philadelphia Filmmakers, is to get a bunch of us directors, producers, musical for movies and stuff like that, and writers, to get us all together in a private group, for one, to be able to share future projects. Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, even Lancaster, Harrisburg. Try to get us all in one little group, and then we can take that step and to be able to promote films that we normally would not hear. Bob Smith might mention his film that you and I didn't hear of. So there we are all together promoting their film and being a family to get the Pennsylvania area out in the open for films. So that's my whole goal. Guys like you who are acting in the business from Pennsylvania, and you've made a Pennsylvania film, for all of us to get together and say, hey, let's make Pennsylvania strong. So that's my whole purpose, and that's how I got in contact with you from your Man in the Box trailer and from a future friendship with Drew Pizzo. So that's why I asked you to come on today to talk about Man in the Box. So I'm very excited about the Pennsylvania area. That I'm part of a bunch of films in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, come up this year. It's being an actor, starting out, it's been almost 2 years now, and I learn a lot from interviewing producers, writers, and other actors, and you hear the stories and stuff, and I think this year is going to be a big year for Pennsylvania films, because I've got a lot of people that are interested, who have liked the Facebook page that we put up, that are in our group, that has a lot of projects I never even heard of, but I know now because of this group. So I'm just so thankful that people are spreading the word and getting some of these filmmakers to join the group, to share what they have in store, and you never know. So,
well, that's great. I'm excited to be a part of that, and I'm excited about what you're doing, because a lot of filmmakers, especially the independent filmmakers who have these low budgets, it's really hard to get people to notice the work that we do to really get the word out there.
Yeah.
And it's even harder to really get people, like pretty much when you've worked on a project, you make a lot of friends on the set. People want to stay in touch, so they say. But people move on to other things and you kind of lose touch with people, and there you are again, you're kind of back square one again, and you're really unknown. And it's like, it's difficult. It's just difficult to really make it in this business. But when you really enjoy what you're doing,
right,
it's something that you got to really look at the big picture, and that's what I've done. I don't look at it in terms of money. All I really want to do is just make films, be a part of a film, and just do something special at least 2-3 times a year if I can.
Right.
That's how I was finishing up, that I just love it so much. I'm very passionate about it, and like I said, I would work any position. People think because I've directed my film now that I think I'm too good, but that's just not the case. I would, if Steven Spielberg asked me to come to California to work as a PA, I'd do it for free. I'd get my way there. I just love being a part of the film. I mean, I know that won't happen, but I just want to be a part of something.
Well, don't say it'll never happen. It might not be Steven Spielberg, but it can easily happen.
Well, I personally would like to tell you guys, I think Pennsylvania is a cinematographer's dream. There is so much you can do in Pennsylvania that you can't do anywhere else. The mountains, everything. That you can do some really great horror movies in Pennsylvania.
Definitely.
Oh, great. I agree.
Definitely, because I know Ray Wade, I added him to the group. He's a producer, actor in the Pittsburgh area. And he has a film called Feeding on Fear that he's getting some investors for California that's going to be shot in the Pittsburgh area. But not to mention, he has another film about it's a horror of a carnival that we are working on getting it filmed here in Paradise, where I live. So the opportunity is going to be open. What I'm saying is the people who I have worked with in the Philadelphia area, I'm also going to be a producer of the one shot here in my area. We don't know when. It could be in 2015 or 16 or whatever. But the doors are starting to open up to where people like you, who I'm connected with now, people like Drew Pizzo and Zay and Martin and Joe Patterson and Brandon Padell. I mean, people who I've worked with, who I'm friends with now, the family can easily grow. And there isn't no me in this industry. There has to be I help you, you help me, to let's help each other and get our work out there. Don't be afraid to promote somebody else's film besides your own, because in the long run, whoever gets more successful is going to remember what you did, and it's only going to be good in the long run. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I wish more people would take that attitude.
You're right. And trust me, that's one of my passions, why I'm doing what I'm doing with this Pennsylvania filmmakers, because I've had experiences with other people from other states. It is about me, and I don't like that me. So I want to make it more of a family unit. Not to be I don't mean for you to be in all my films or me to be in all your films. What I'm saying is to build this strong, powerful relationship industry to say, look, we can do this. Teamwork goes a long way. So that's my whole goal. We have over 100 likes already on the Facebook page already. So it's really cool to see people who aren't from Pennsylvania who are liking the page, because that can also lead to more bigger and better things. You know what I mean? You might get a actor from Pennsylvania that might do a film in Tennessee, or vice versa. So I think it's going to be I just want to show people who don't know anything about Pennsylvania films that there are films in Pennsylvania, and that Pennsylvania is a very passionate people on making films. So that's my whole goal.
That's exciting.
We are going to go to your acting career. We talked earlier about how you got in some of the films, but I've noticed that one film that is a Pennsylvania film, It's The Road Killer. You played the preacher. And what I came across about this is, believe it or not, I'm also a associate producer for this film, and that's the weird part about our connection. Again, it's a Pennsylvania thing that I think that's the key thing that I just mentioned. I like to finance some of the Pennsylvania films. I mean, I feel it's hometown, not exactly hometown, but the director of this film went to the same high school as my kids. I just realized that, and that's one of the driving factors of why I contributed to this film, is because it hit close to home. You know, again, Road Killer has been going for about 2 years now. You think?
I think so.
Trying to get it done, and that just shows passion for the filmmaker in order to, because it's not all peanut butter and jelly. It takes a long process of making a film. If you ain't got the budget, if you ain't got this, it takes some time to get the film made. And for a film to be started and for a film to be completed, it's an achievement of its own.
I'll say, wow. We are what we are. I mean, I'm an independent filmmaker.
Fuck yeah.
And I did the best of what I had.
Damn right, because I've done 1, 2, 3, basically minimal to low budget films, and I've said this, and I said this in my reviews. GruesomeHerzog.com is my review site, so there is a bunch of Pennsylvania films that I've reviewed already that's on there, but I really enjoy films that have very limited budget, not because it has to be, it's because it is, but they were so much fun to work on, to even watch and review, because, you know, the passion is there. When you have a little bit of money, there's passion to get it done, and passion comes forward to a good product. I mean, it's not going to be a perfect product. It is what it is, but passion says all. I mean, I enjoy working on films like that because everybody is open for suggestions. Everybody wants to make this film better, and it's teamwork. And when you have teamwork, shit shines through, you know? Not shit, but, you know, you got what I mean, you know? So, Man in the Box, real quick. It is complete, right? So you're in the process of getting the final touches, correct?
That's correct. It's already been edited, color corrected. The audio's been worked on. We're pretty much submitting it now, and we're just kind of waiting to take the next step.
All right. The first step of getting your film out is finding some legitimate, honest understanding of low-budget films. And that's where good press is bad press. Because usually when someone bangs on a film, it still gets press. You know?
I'll take any press, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I told you earlier, I mean, Joanne knows this guy out of the sky blue literally trashed me. I mean, I have no idea who he is. And the day that he trashed me, 114 friend requests. I said, thanks, dude. You got me more friends. So there you go. I think Man in the Box is a film that's going to be accepted by horror fans. It's going to be accepted by thriller fans. It's going to be accepted by drama fans. It's going to be accepted by all types of fans, and I think that's what's going to be successful about your film. Is it's not just strictly a horror; it's everything. It's a family-oriented guy. He has a background. You know, there's revenge in it. I'm assuming there's everything that you want in this film, and I think it's really, really going to put Pennsylvania on the map if it properly gets put out there. And a lot of distributors that just want films, but they really don't do a job on promoting a film unless there's a big name star in it, which I think it's bullshit. There's plenty of actors that are just as good as the big names that can, you know, it should be based on story, creativity, the way it was filmed, you know, how it was shot, and everything else. But a lot of these distributors, we have to have a big name in order to sell it. That's bullshit. It's not true. But I mean, there are distributors that will not just focus on a name in a film, but that's just me speaking through the review aspect over the years from doing films.
Well, I want to know if you're going to submit your film to our festival.
Yes, actually, I intend to do just that this coming week.
That's good, because the sooner you get it in here, the better it is.
Yeah, we're going to do that this week. We'll look for the DVD.
And we are looking for, most of our films that have been submitted are not from anywhere near California. They're all from all over the place. So we're planning on having a lot of variety in our film festival. And we're showcasing a lot of outside LA talent.
Oh. Cool.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yeah, that's awesome.
We talked about The Road Killer, a film that I've been hearing about for a while. But you made I guess as your debut in 2011, you played a character of Lamont in, how do you say that? Sovicious?
Oh, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I never did understand that title there. But I played the Lamont, but it was more or less he was just simply there as a thug. Can you imagine me playing a thug? I mean,
but you're so nice. How can you be a thug?
You know what it was? I think they just needed a body there because I've tried to get roles as a thug, and if you look on my credits, there's a film called The Dead Giveaway, the motion picture, where I played Detective Stephen Greenlee, and I ended up getting that role because I originally went there as a thug, and the director, in front of everybody, he stops me as I'm reading my lines, and I had memorized these lines, and I went all the way up to Massachusetts to do this, and he stops me, and I'm thinking, was I that bad? And he pulls me to the side, and he says, listen, Kevin, you're no thug, okay? I appreciate your effort, but you are no thug. However, we have a role for a detective, and I think you would be perfect for that. So that's how it worked out for me, fortunately. But yeah, I tried and have tried in the past, but just never could quite get that down.
Well, now you're a memorable detective.
Yes, I am, and I've played that role in the past. I'm kind of typecast that way. Doctor, lawyer, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah,
me too.
Not a thug.
Me too. A psychiatrist, a doctor, a bartender. Yeah.
So when are you guys going to be Indian chiefs?
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome.
But you could play cowboys and Indians.
Oh, she's so funny, ain't she? Hang up on her now.
You're so mean to me, Scott.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
Now, Benjamin M. Altoy, he's the director.
Very kind young director, and I really wish him all the best. He's a guy that's just got a great vision there, and
right.
Patient, because I believe he started this in 2011, and I know that he's had some hiccups along the way trying to get all the pieces together, which I can relate to because there's so many parts to making a movie that people will know that you made a film in 2011. They think 2 months later you should have it all wrapped up and finished, but there's a lot that goes into it.
Exactly right. There's films that are filmed in 2009 and don't get released until 2014.
Yeah, especially when you don't have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much financing it on your own, and you're trying to get people to pay attention to you. It's not easy.
Nice. Right. But that does look pretty interesting, though. Dead Giveaway. I'm assuming it's a zombie film.
Yeah, it's a really interesting movie there, and like I said, I have a lot of hope for Benjamin Alate, I think it is. I'm not quite sure, but I call him Ben, and he's just a great guy. Great film there, and I was excited to be a part of it, and I would love to be a part of any future production that he has in the future.
And you also were a SWAT officer in Stealing Suburbia.
Oh, man, what a great experience that was. I mean, they went out and got us uniforms. They were authentic. We had, I believe they were using the red camera. I remember going there at like 6 in the morning up in New York, and I was really nervous, but I got there before anyone else did, and I was in front of this house because that's the location. And as I sat there, I was thinking, I hope this is the right place. But then these vans pull up, and they bring out all this equipment and wires and dollies. It was just mind-boggling. I remember thinking, I've died and gone to heaven. I mean, this set was so professional, and all it was a short. It was just a short film, but they used the red camera. When they pulled that out, I mean, I was just drooling all over myself. I thought, oh my God, you're using the red? Because it was just so professional. You know, you had all these kids from NYU, and I believe the director was David Shapiro. I mean, just top-notch professionalism, and they gave us our uniforms, and I tell you, when I got that on, I was just like a kid in a candy store. I couldn't believe I was there. I was just excited, and I didn't want it to end. I mean, when they finally got our scene done, I was like, is there anything else you need me for?
Well, see, that's, you know, and I'm sure, I don't know about you, but when you go on set that first day where you had your lines to do, but when you did your scene, you were so relieved that it's over, your part-wise, mentally-wise, that yes, I did it. Now I can relax. Now, can I help do anything else? And that's exactly what I do all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety. Even on my own film, when I was doing my scenes, I did that out of necessity because I didn't want to have to deal with too many lead actors and have to rely on them. So I put myself as a lead because I knew I can count on myself to be there and to have my lines memorized. But it's painful for me to watch myself. And going forward, I'm not really sure if I would even ever cast myself again as a lead character because it is painful for me to watch. And I'll say this, I've come to this conclusion about myself. You know that athlete that may not be the most talented person on the field there? He may not be great in any one area, but he does just good enough. But the one thing he brings is a great attitude and a lunch pail attitude. Like, I come onto that set. I may not be the best writer, may not be the best director, certainly am not the best actor.
Right.
But I bring a passion and a sincerity to that room that's undeniable. And it's like, that's all I feel you've got to have in this business is you just got to have that love for it.
Mm-hmm. You also were on a TV series, too. Am I correct? The three of us?
Yeah. I did that, I believe it was in 2011. It was a little short series that I had did with Nicole Seminole, I believe her name is, and Luigi Benavides. I am destroying these names, but it's on my IMDb page, and you can see the names. But we had collaborated together to make a little series. It was just kind of a test run, just to kind of test out the writing that I was capable of, and putting together a script and some characters. And we all got together, and we just put it. I think we did 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Episodes of that.
There is a lot of web series that are being made that a lot of people don't know because, again, as we talked earlier, you really have to have somebody who's strictly just for promoting and production, and that's where Zay Rodriguez is so talented about promoting Arisen, because that's how I came involved in it, because I would never have known if I didn't see him promoting it on other sites, and that's how I got connected with the audition and all. But the key for success is word of mouth by, your cast and crew, and it's all professionalism. And I think over a majority of the people like yourself and myself and Joanne and people I've worked with are total professionals. They get it. You ain't going to be a star overnight. You have to work your way. And the key thing to start is be professional. Whatever comes next, comes. If it doesn't come, it will eventually. You just got to work hard and be yourself. and be honest and just be passionate. That's just the bottom line. Keywords is passion.
Well said, Scott.
So.
I agree.
So, and again, I'm really anxious to see Man in the Box. I wish you all the success. I'm in your corner. Whatever you need me to do to help promote it or do whatever, I am your man. Joanne is your woman.
And I'll even let Scott put it on our page.
Really?
That'd be good.
You'll let me? I'll just do it. The hell are you talking about?
Hey, I'm the boss here.
Kevin, is she really the boss if she won't fire me?
Yeah, let's go ahead and...
So anyways, Kevin, thanks for coming on. You are a true man, a true passionate guy that is like-minded like myself and other filmmakers that I've talked to. And I think with your mindset and understanding and realism is going to lead you to some bigger things in the future.
Well, thank you, Scott. I'm blessed. I really am. Just to be doing this is just a blessing. I would have never, in my wildest dreams, would have ever thought that I could even write, let alone produce. I just couldn't fathom that. I still can't get over it. But the reality is I was able to do it, and I am just blessed to have done it. And God willing, I can continue to do so.
Yep. And I can tell you one thing that you did and that stands out is you chose the right cinematographer. That's key. Filming a film is the key. Production is the key. And again, I'll speak for Andrew Pizzo on his behalf. The guy is amazing.
He is indeed. Andrew is just my friend. You know, he is not just someone I work with. We actually have a good relationship, and I have a lot of faith. And I told him that good things were going to be happening for him because I got a glimpse of what he can do.
Yep.
He's just scratched the surface, and you know, going forward, I suspect that he's going to have a great deal of success in this business, and I'm just thrilled to have met him, and I'm glad to call him my friend.
Yep. Even though we fight like crazy, but he's still my friend. I'm just kidding. But Kevin, thanks again for coming on. You are a wonderful, talented individual with the passion of filmmaking that I think it's going to lead you to big pastures in the future.
Thank you, Scott. It means a lot to hear you say that. I'm just thrilled that you had me on here, but what you're doing is fantastic, and I just feel I want to meet you personally. I want to get to know you a little bit better, and maybe and hopefully really soon. I would love that.
Sweet. Me too. I would too. All right, Kevin. Thanks a lot.
All right, Scott. Talk to you guys later.
Yep.
So long.
Take care.
All right, bye.